Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 7. Episode 7, can you believe it? They said it couldn't be done. And yet here we go, we've created a monster. It's still running, and we have a brand... No, we don't mean you. We've got a brand new guest today. Who is this geezer?
Well, tonight we have Mr. Al Neville.
Hello.
Local musician who's in pretty much every band that's ever put on in these parts, in the borough of Redbridge, particularly.
And surrounding environments.
Surrounding counties.
What does Al stand for? Alfonso?
Just Alan, I'm afraid.
It's Alan?
Yeah.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Oh, Al is the first time we've had a guest like Al, because at the end of every video we put up, if you fancy coming on Desert Island Disc, just get in touch. And that's what Al did. He got in touch. That's how easy it is. Yeah. He paid the £2,000 fee, came on, and away we go. So, before we go, better read out the terms and conditions. Okay.
I, Al Neville, promise to subscribe to your channel. Done that already. I promise to leave a comment. May not have done that already. I promise to give a thumbs up. And I promise I will ring that notification bell.
Ding dong.
Johnny's done it for me. Excellent.
Right, lovely. Let's launch straight into it then.
Yeah.
So, Al, can you tell us about your earliest musical memory?
Yes. In 1961, when I was 7, my mum and dad bought a radiogram, which was a lovely piece of furniture, great big, almost like a sideboard, with a record player in one side, a radio in the other, and the two speakers arranged not very far apart underneath, with the word stereophonic written across it.
Lovely.
And that was very exciting. I didn't know what any of that meant. And my dad said, as me and my brother and sister, they're 5 and 6 years older than me, so I was the youngest, and they said, get your pocket money, we'll go down the shop and you can buy a record. So so my earliest real memory is listening to things like Pick of the Pops and Radio Luxembourg, which used to fade in and out famously.
All the time,
yeah. And and my mum buying her first LP, which was an LP by Carl Denver, who used to do things like, well, he did on that record, Whim Away, Mexicali Rose. It was all
Classics.
yodeling stuff,
Yeah.
Was he related to John Denver?
Not in my knowledge.
I was listening to John Denver. Look, there's his album over there this morning.
I got them completely mixed up. I thought you meant John Denver. Carl.
Carl Denver.
Carl
Look him
Denver.
up.
That spoils all what I was going to say. But
I was really trying not to say what was that record, what was the first record, but I think maybe you cleverly
Well, that's my mum's first record, yes.
So that's your earliest musical memory.
While we're on about Carl Denver, no relation to John Denver, I take it.
That's right.
But John Denver famously died in an aeroplane crash.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody else who died in an aeroplane crash? Famous musicians. Name one.
Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Name one.
The Big Bopper.
He did. He was on the
Same
plane.
one.
I thought you'd have gone for Patsy Cline.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, shit. And Jim Reeves.
Well, did he?
Yeah, but do you know what Jim Reeves had in common with John Denver? They were both flying their own plane.
Yeah.
And when Jim Reeves was flying his, the bloke in the back said, "Jim, I think there's I keep hearing noises." And Jim Reeves said, "Don't worry, it's just the sound of distant drums." I hear the sound.
Whereas John was leaving on a jet plane.
He was, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So the moral to that story is, if you're a pop star, don't buy your own plane.
So, as I was saying, you didn't say what the single was, because that's the next question.
That's the next question.
So,
Nearly did, didn't I? Yeah.
beautifully into question 2. What's the first single you bought with your own money?
Well, there we were, down at the shops with my dad, with our pocket money, and me and brother and sister, and we all bought a record. My brother bought FBI by the Shadows. I remember this. My sister bought You Don't Know by Helen Shapiro. Gave you a chance.
Yeah.
And I brought Runaway by Del Shannon, which I'm
Why?
proud. Why?
Is it the one?
Because it was and is a great record.
Runaway.
That's it.
Why wonder?
That's a good song.
It's a classic
you were
song.
6. I mean,
I was 7.
6 or 7. I mean, it's a catchy song.
Where was this record shop?
It was Chingford Hatch.
Oh, so you are a Londoner.
Yeah, I'm a sort of. I was brought up in
In
Chingford.
those days, it was Essex, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. So I woke up one morning. It wasn't Essex anymore. I don't know what happened there. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So that was there, and yeah, I bought all my singles in there for a while before I branched out. And, yeah. But yeah, so I was only 7.
Well,
as
well
I say,
done
but,
for remembering
but-
your brother and sister's first purchase.
Yeah,
as well.
it's one of those things that stuck in my mind forever. That is mine because I think mine's much better than either of theirs. I still think it now.
And have they grown up to be musicians too?
No,
there
neither
you
of
go.
them. Neither of them. No,
It was in your
no.
blood.
Yeah,
Okay, so the obvious next question.
yeah.
What was the first album you bought with your own money?
Well, we're going from 1961, and I was buying singles all through the 60s. But I bought a couple of Beatles records early on. I bought She Loves You and I bought From Me to You. It'd be the other way around, wouldn't it? From Me to You came first. But then I didn't buy any more. And that's for a few years. When you think that's going right through their period of great fame, I didn't really like them very much for a bit.
The Beatles.
The Beatles.
Controversial.
You like them now, don't you? Because you're always playing them. Come
Well,
on,
what
Kat.
happened was, in 1968, I was now at senior school, I was now 13. I got that right, so I have to do the sums. 15 I was. and it was a boys' school, I was at George Monarch's in Walthamstow.
Oh, my son went there.
Oh, right, okay. And at lunchtime you could bring in records and play them on the record player in the music room.
Nice.
And I used to go in there and listen to all these records. And one day a boy brought in this record and he put it on and I nearly fell over. I thought it was the best thing I'd ever heard in my life.
So did he
And I
bring in
had
his
to
own
then-
record? Or
Yeah,
did
you
the
bring in
school
your
have
own
some?
records.
Yeah.
And it was the White Album by the Beatles. Not really called the White Album at all, is it? But that's what everyone knows
What's
it as
it
for obvious
officially
reasons.
called?
The Beatles.
Oh, right.
Just called The Beatles. You can just about read it on the front.
Yeah, I mean, both titles aren't that well.
Not that catchy. Not considering it was Sgt. Pepper, the one before.
Yes.
And the cover are completely different.
Has
of
this one
course.
got a number on it?
Yes.
Wow.
Not exactly a significant one. 0456949. Yeah. I went into the shop and I with I just thought I've got to have this. It knocked me over. You know when you hear something and it goes, oh, this is great. What have I missed?
Mm.
Can I see what songs are on it?
Yeah, I think they're listed.
I think Ringo's got
I
number
don't
1,
know.
hasn't he?
Where are we? Here we are.
Oh, right.
Back in the USSR
Oh, yes,
starter. Yeah. And
Oh yeah, I mean that's.
I remember I went up the counter and you know, my little 30 bob I think it was, went up the counter. Want the new Beatles record, please? And he said, stereo or mono?
What did you say?
And I thought, you know, I said stereophonic was written on
Yeah.
my way. That's the only reason. I thought, remember that song written? I better have stereo, I suppose.
And was
because
stereo right? for
yeah,
that
it was, because it was a
device? I wouldn't
stereophonic.
have
Even
known.
though the speaker was that far apart, you could hardly tell.
That is
Yeah.
lovely.
I used to lay down between the speakers to get them. But this was the first of my
Excellent.
pride
So,
thing.
Johnny, why did you ask? Has it got a number? Is that significant?
Well, I'm not. I seem to remember they all had their own.
They all
they
know.
were,
Yeah.
If you've got number, you know, an early
I think
number.
Ringo's got number 1.
Is he? Yeah. But can I just quickly say my second record because I think this is quite.
Oh well,
relevant.
it's
I know it's not on your
unprecedented, but
list.
go on then.
But 'cause I'm going off piece a little bit because this is also a double album, and this is my second record. So I just bought 2 double albums.
You like
of my
the
first 2
bargain?
records. I think
buy
there's
one,
something
get
in there.
one free. These
But
others.
look at this. Pi Records presents 10 years of golden hits. How different can you be to that? Introduced me to a few things. And by the way, there's a few Searchers songs on here,
Yeah.
which are of interest because
It
I'm
is
now
of
playing a
interest
Searchers
because
band.
you are in a Searchers tribute band, which
Indeed
we'll
we are.
get onto later.
Yeah. So
And
there you
that's
go.
many other things. Well,
But,
thank
so
you.
my first 2 albums are both doubles.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So next question: what was your first live show? That you went to?
Okay. Well, this was 1971. September the 18th. I looked it up. I cheated. I looked it up. One of the reasons I like to cheat is I've got the programme from it here.
Wow.
And there's no date on it.
Wow.
No mention of the venue. It's very strange. But this was called Goodbye Summer, a rock concert.
May I?
Please do.
Wow, look at that. And you can't see what's on the back, but wow. The faces.
Yeah. But if you
Is
look
this-
at the...
where was the venue? Charlton Football Ground.
This was the
Oval.
The Oval Cricket
You're
Ground.
the second guest who
Yeah.
went to a big gig at the Oval. I never
Oh,
knew
really?
that they used to put on music.
Well, I don't know what else they did, but look at this.
Well,
line.
they did
Look,
cricket.
Lindisfarne, Mott the Hoople, America.
This is the same gig as our
It's the same
other
one?
guest.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might know him, Keith Coffey.
I probably do. I
He's
recognise the
in
name.
the
I've
replacement
seen.
hipsters.
Oh yeah.
He's the singer. He was.
So
there.
he was there. I'll have to
well,
talk to him about
Oh,
this.
it's
Can you remember him there? from the day?
No, funny enough, I don't think we bumped into each other in that small crowd.
We're not going to rest until we've had everybody who was at the gig. So we're doing well. We've had 2 so far.
2 so far. You're getting
I
there.
remember that Keith said that he, some of the bands he remembers well, some he doesn't.
Yeah.
Not the Hoople he remembered well, but he didn't hardly remember Lindisfarne. Who do you?
I'm kind of the other way around. Well, I'm not sure I remember Lindisfarne particularly at that gig. I saw them a few times because I love Lindisfarne. I've seen them fairly recently, even in their latest incarnation. What I really remember, to be honest, is the Faces and the Who.
Yeah.
The Faces I loved, and I saw them a lot of times. The Who I only saw that once, so it was good memory.
That's brilliant. And that was your first gig as
that
well.
That was my first gig.
Keith, that was his first one. And
first
how
one
can you?
to.
It must be hard to top that after your
second
gig.
I know. I can't remember what the second one was. I'm not going to produce a second gig.
I think Keith Coffey said the Faces were the standout.
I think he probably did because he's a massive Faces fan.
Well, me too.
Of course, they're from Newham, where he was from. Is from.
Yeah, so that was a great day, though. That really was. Because I dug this out, and I've only just noticed. No mention of where it is.
Who did
no
you
mention
go
of
with?
the date. I went with a friend from school called Paul. I think it was his idea, so I'd fancy going to this. So I suppose so. I don't know.
Do you remember how much it cost?
No, I don't.
But it wasn't much
No,
compared
I
to
don't
But
suppose
it was the Bangladesh thing, wasn't it?
It was.
that's the map on the
in
front
aid of
then.
famine relief for the people of Bangladesh. Of course, George Harrison had done the Bangladesh concert around that time, and there was rumours that George might appear, and there was also rumours that Elton John might appear for some reason, as I remember, but neither of them did.
This is a brilliant bit of history you've got here, may I say, Al, isn't it? I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
And as expected, in pristine condition, sir.
Not bad.
Some of the stuff we've had on this show.
Really
Well, we'll
lovely.
see other stuff in a bit.
Yeah, keep it safe. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, of course I will. I have all these years, so I hope not
It's
to
not
lose
dog-eared at all.
it. No.
Brilliant.
Unlike me.
Now, when you were in the like in the 60s, maybe 70s,
60s, yeah. 60s,
would you have
70s.
identified as a teddy boy, mod, rocker, hippie, glam rocker, punk, heavy metal kid, goth, new romantic, soul boy, or anything else?
Well, the thing is, I kind of looked through this list and I kind of thought, I'd love to have been a hippie, but I was a bit young to be a hippie.
Yeah.
And later on I'd love to be other things, and I felt a bit old to be them.
Yeah.
So I never seemed to fit right into
you
that.
missed it.
I will show you a picture here, though, if it may give you
Please
an
do.
idea of what I look like. Sorry, I tried to take this out of my album and it got stuck. I can't get it out. But this is the one in the corner. And this is me and my friend John. This is me in the front.
Oh,
Which gives you an idea of how I kind of
You were quite-
shaped up in those days.
quite buff,
Not
Are you
too
the
bad.
front
quite
one?
fanciful.
Right, the nearest one, yeah.
Long hair.
That's me,
I'll have to try and take a photo of
Yeah,
that.
I can probably send you.
Oh, can you? Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
put it on the
Very nice.
screen.
So can I guess the year? Maybe
That'd be
in the
1972.
60s or the 70s. Oh, you're a teenager, aren't you?
Yeah, by then, yeah. So a bit after that.
I've noticed
72
now that
probably.
you've grown your hair again.
I know. I'm beginning
What's
to
that
feel
all
that it's
about?
Well, he's
it
got
happens.
good hair,
It
hasn't he?
happens, and then I get it cut again, and it all goes short again. That's what I always do. I always grow it, and I always go to the hairdressers and say, "Oh, I've let it too long, but here I am."
What's
again.
on that T-shirt? Do you know?
I think is that Faces? I can't see.
Oh.
I think it is Faces.
You still got it?
No,
The only,
no, it isn't. It's Virgin, which is not a. Well, it probably was a description of me actually.
But it didn't
Yeah.
mean Virgin Records. But did Virgin Records exist in those days?
I don't know if Records did. I think the record shop did it. Virgin Record shop. I don't know.
funny, I've still got one item of clothing that still fits from when I was 14. It's my scarf.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that would fit. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
thanks for
yeah.
those pictures
Yeah.
and albums.
Talking about, you were going to mention the reason why you felt a bit put off from being a hippie.
Oh yeah. Well, what it was is when Charles Manson committed his horrific murders in 1969, I think. And I remember, it was stuck in my mind, in the newspapers it said hippie murderer.
So, was he a hippie?
Well, how could he have been? To me, it
Well, he wasn't a real one.
peace
He
and
was
love.
masqueraded.
It was peace and love, you know what I mean? And
Masquerade.
that's good. But, yeah.
So, you were just your own man, weren't
They're
you?
making,
Your own boy.
I think there's I don't know if it's a film but it's a new documentary on him coming.
Oh, are they?
Well, I don't think
yeah.
Al's going to be watching it.
I have seen one on him before.
The strange thing about him is I don't think he actually killed anybody, did he?
No, he can't. I don't think he did. I think it was
he brainwashed his
Yeah.
followers,
Yeah.
mainly females.
Mm-hmm.
And I sometimes I can't even get a woman to make me a cup of tea. How did he manage that?
Watch the documentary. Okay,
But yeah, there's,
on to the romantic part of the show.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a song that you fell in love to?
yeah, this may surprise some people, but I met
Prepare to be surprised.
I met my
people.
wife, which is my wife, she is now, and has been for many years now, Jill, in 1974 when I started working in Waltham Forest, or when she started. I was already there. She joined the office,
Yes.
and we met and we became an item. And the record that sticks in my mind from that era was Tiger Feet by Mud.
Ooh.
Because we always did the dance. That's right, that's right, that's right.
Is there someone
that's
else
right.
that chose Tiger Feet?
Nobody.
Maybe not in
Surely
this
not, surely
not in this
not.
category. The romantic one. You used to dance to it.
yeah,
in the,
yeah,
In the
yeah.
office?
No, but at parties and
Oh.
maybe we did in the office. I don't know. Yeah.
And when was the last time you put that on, you and Jill, and had a
Well, that's a good
dance?
question. I think we've heard it at a couple
Maybe
of
it's
parties,
time.
or things. Yeah, maybe we
Are you
should.
still with her?
Yeah, still with her.
Didn't know that.
Despite that, I'm still with her.
Funny.
We've had lots of long, happy marriages.
This is Dash the cat, by the way. If you're wondering what this creature is,
Hello.
she's a big mud fan. I mean, only this
Excellent.
morning I saw her. She crept in, crept out again.
The cat crapped in.
Yeah.
Now, from falling in love in a long marriage to the next stage, what song would you like to be played at your funeral?
Yes. Well, I have. I heard a song played at a funeral. I always think about this. I think about this a lot, and I kind of thought about it a lot. And then I heard this at a funeral. I thought it's so appropriate, and it actually is one of my favourite records. "Together in Electric Dreams" by Phil Oakey and Georgia
Very
Moroder.
80s.
It is very 80s.
Iconic 80s.
It was 84. And I used to, in those days, always pick my favourite song of the year.
Together.
And that was one of them. But I couldn't split it from another one. But the other one was "Glad It's All Over" by Captain Sensible. And I thought, perhaps "Glad It's All Over" is not perhaps the one to pick.
There'll be a lot of people in the congregation.
They'll sing that one. Let them do it, yeah.
We'll always
But
be
that was,
together.
yeah. It's
Together
tremendous.
in electric dreams. That was from a song, wasn't it? I mean, a film. Sorry.
It's been used, I think, in a film. I'm
Yeah.
not sure it was
I'm
written for.
thinking
But
about it.
um,
Why was it Phil Oakey rather than the band he was in? Did he do that as a solo?
yeah.
Because he was in
He was in
Human
Human
League.
Human League.
Human League. No, he did it with Georgia
Did he still
Moroder.
have that lopsided haircut?
Yeah, I think so. The Georgia, I mean, that I've got the album of that, and it's all that rhythm. It just goes from one song to the other. And it doesn't even. There's not even a break to the next song. But it's
all
great. It's
synthesised,
great.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's all synthesised stuff. And
Electric dreams.
but what I love about it as well is the beginning of that song. If you remember, it's kind of it comes in gently. I can't sing it, but there's a kind of
Like
gentle
life itself.
keyboardy part, and then the rhythm kicks in. So and that kind of is so sort of evocative. And when I heard it at my cousin's funeral, first I thought, what's this? I know this, and it came in. I thought, it's just beautiful, just right for a funeral. We'll always be together.
It's all right to
You know.
borrow other people's choices. I
Yeah,
might use
well,
it for mine now. You've said
Yeah,
that.
it's good. You're welcome to it. I won't charge you.
Fashionable
I don't think they will either.
Well, thanks for
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Who inspired you to pick up an instrument? First of all, what instrument do you play?
I play the guitar.
You do, and very
Yeah,
well.
and
I'll
nothing
tell you
else.
something else about Al Neville. He's a brilliant lyricist, very clever, very good with words, and very funny. I particularly like your one about the blow-up doll. It's a love song,
yes,
but
yes.
you don't realise it. But not
That's not
just
your
that.
first
It's
wife,
quite
is it?
memorable. So,
She won't see this, will she?
so really, who inspired you? I suppose for the guitar and the songwriting.
Yeah, well, songwriting, I've been, what did I call it, songwriting? Making up songs since I was 10.
That's
and in
still
fact,
songwriting. Is it not what songwriting
here's my earliest book I could find of my
Al.
songs by me.
Oh,
Songs by Al Neville, you can see that, which I obviously stuck together with sellotape. And there's a list of 11 songs in here that I made up. I don't know exactly when, but I started, I'm pretty sure, when I was 10, towards the end of the year when I was 10, and certainly when I was 11, I was well into it. And so I used to just make up the songs in my head. I didn't play an instrument or anything.
that would be worth a fortune one day when you're famous,
Trust
or
me.
more famous.
So having been doing that, and I kept doing that, I kept making up songs, writing the words down there again.
It wasn't you in the back of that aeroplane with the
It might.
Jim Reeves was it? Look, the beating of the drums. Your side of
They
the
are.
story. Sadly, Jim's not here to tell his side of the
I'm
story.
actually a school teacher, so I'll see what I think. The first thing that strikes me, what beautiful handwriting.
In those days.
Really
I
lovely.
was proud of my handwriting back
It's
in the
exactly
day.
the same as my handwriting. That's how they taught you to do it. The slight slant.
Yeah.
And you can choose to go backwards or forward. Oh, look. This is like what you write now. I'm not going to read it out or anything, but Marriage of a Flower Man, the man from Interflora won't be round today. I mean, that's so you. How old were you?
I reckon I was maybe a young teenager, maybe a bit younger, maybe 10, 11,
Mr.
12.
Tex, I mean, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
You're a child prodigy.
I mean,
I just like doing it. I think the thing is, I would like. Well, the other thing I would just say about this is, I also used to write down before that the words of pop songs in a book, just pop songs that I liked. So I've got 3 of them. One of them actually includes
Come on, Dash.
"Goodbye, My Love" by the Searchers, which in the band I'm now in, we do. So it's quite
I suppose
round
the
full
act of
circle.
writing down lyrics helps you in your own lyric writing because you understand the structure of songs and the
Yeah,
beats
maybe
and
it
the
does.
rhythms,
Maybe it
I
does.
think,
But it just shows how fascinated I was with lyrics.
Yeah.
I realised looking back, I love the lyrics of songs. It's a thing that I just do. I love.
And I think that's what stands out in your own songs, if I may say.
Okay.
Excellent lyrics. Hank, we haven't actually had the question answered.
And
However,
look, Essex Education. That proves that
yeah.
it was in Essex at that time.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
who inspired you? Oh, sorry, took my legs out. Who inspired you to pick up an instrument?
Well, having said that, I was making up songs anyway,
Yes.
and I think it was probably a logical progression that I would try and sing them
Yeah.
at some point. So, but this has been going on for a while, right through my early teens. Anyway, when I was 17, Cat Stevens, Paul Simon, those singer-songwriter people who just, I know they did more, but they played the guitar, they sang their own songs, and that kind of appealed to me.
We're being overrun by cats.
Yes, our cat's gone over to sit by the radiator, don't blame her.
Oh yeah, another cat, yeah. And the other thing, I've been at the boys' school I was at, some of the other boys have started playing guitar, and they used to have something called the rag concert. It sounds very old-fashioned now, really, but the rag concert, and some of the boys would play their songs, or some of the songs, and I just thought, I want to do that.
Hang on, the rag concert, was that
At school.
the school had its own comic?
No, the rag concert. So it was a concert.
Oh, they put on a
a
show.
concert.
What does that mean, a rag concert?
Well, I think I've heard of it in sort of universities and things. I think they do a rag. I don't know why they call it.
Oh,
rag.
I think it's fundraising, isn't it?
It may
Charity.
maybe
A
it
rag,
was
they
that.
have a rag week at school.
A rag week, yeah, that's right.
I think it raises
Yeah,
money.
so it'd be that. And they used to have the rag concert, as they called them. And, if you could do something. I never performed in them. I was too shy to do anything. I was far too shy.
Come on, Al.
Yeah, I was.
You're not now, are you, Al?
No, I'm not. I don't know. I wasn't. That's another person. So there you go. I ended up borrowing a guitar and went to adult education classes.
They were great adult
up in
education classes.
Chingford High School in Neville Drive in Chingford.
And learnt the guitar.
And learnt the guitar there. Yeah. And by the end of the first year, I picked up enough I started going out and playing with the teacher,
Really?
which was quite nice. Second year was classical.
So you were
Classical
quite
I did
good at-
about 2 weeks of and gave up. I couldn't get on with
Obviously,
that.
you picked up the guitar quite
How old-
quickly.
how
You
old
had
were you
a
then at that
finish.
time?
So I was 17, 18
Oh, right.
18 by the time, yeah.
So what, you were in a duo?
We didn't do much, but we went out and played a few things. He'd say, "Oh, come along and play with me," So it's good enough to to do that. That was good fun.
Cat Stevens, and I suppose the adult education system was another inspiration because they were there.
Well, I think the main
your
inspiration,
teacher.
if I'm honest, was seeing the other boys
And
in
the boys at the
school
school.
doing it
Yeah.
and thinking, "I can do it. I'll have a go."
Yeah.
It's funny, we used to have a teacher at our school who used to say, "Come along and play with me," but he's getting out next week.
Bum bum. Right, moving on. I might have to sneeze first. I'll get the question out before I sneeze. What's been your proudest musical moment?
Right, I had to think about this one. I'll be honest with you.
I'm
It's-
sure
it's
there's
quite
so
hard.
many of them.
Well, in a way, but I suppose it's fairly recent actually. But my mum sadly passed away in January 2022, and I was asked by my brother and sister to go and sing at the funeral, to sing one of my songs at the funeral. I'd written a song a few years ago called Mum's Song, and I don't know if Mum particularly liked it. I'd given, played it to her, but I don't know. But it seemed appropriate, and they said, well, we were trying to sort of work out what to do for the funeral, make it as good a funeral, good send-off for my mum as we could. and I was very pleased when I was asked to sing a song. And it does make me proud to think that I was asked to do that, and that I did. So I did it in front of all our wider family and friends.
Sometimes
and everything.
it's harder to do that, isn't it? Things like that than a big gig in front of a.
Yeah, well, it's just me, on my own. It wasn't, just on me and the guitar.
Something so personal.
Yeah. And of course, I'll practice and practice and practice. But what I did, I pared down the song. I recorded it slightly differently. I just pared it down so it's gentle and, and in the, the crematorium room, it had a nice sound to it. And so I think that.
So, what's the your musical situation at the minute?
My situation is various, really. I'm in 4 bands. One is, you probably know, the Researchers. And that's quite a new thing.
I hear you played last night.
We played last night.
I saw them last night.
Pub, yeah. And we had a good night there. We only played a few gigs, a handful of gigs so far, and we're sort of still getting more stuff together.
So,
but we're doing songs.
We mentioned, the Researchers, that they're a tribute band to the Researchers, but they don't only do Searchers songs.
Well, we have, apart from last night we did a Beatles song, but we'll see how we go on with it. There's only so many big hits by the Searchers, and you can kind of run out of ideas.
There was a couple last night that you played that I've forgotten about. Is it Goodbye My Love?
Goodbye My Love, which is the one I've got in there. It's.
I forgot that one.
I really like that song.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. So I'm glad we got that one together.
And the other 3 bands?
The other 3, Travelling Tilburys. I've been in for a while.
Travelling Tilburys, do you get that?
It's a great name, Travelling Tilburys.
Which, as the name suggests.
Which member are you like?
Well, we don't do it like that. We don't do it like that. We just perform songs. We don't.
If you could be one though, who would you be?
George Harrison. That's not a hard question. So we do Travelling Wilburys and their constituent parts. So anything by George, anything by Bob, anything.
You won't run out of material.
No, there's a lot of material there, and we've never, we haven't even started scraping the barrel of that.
They're great.
So
it's electric, isn't it? It's a big band.
Yeah. Third one is Deja Vu, and we haven't been able to play lately because sadly one of our members is not very well. But we've been doing Crosby, Stills and Nash stuff, which I love because it's all harmony, and I love the harmony stuff. So that's been good. And last but not least, it's Storm in a Teacup, which is a kind of folk band with a fiddle and a couple of accordions and me on the guitar. Pretty much all instrumental stuff. Yeah. All I'm doing is strumming away, keeping the rhythm.
Sometimes you've called to the dances as well.
I have called dances a couple of times. Yeah, a couple of dances. Yeah, but I'm not a caller, but I've learned a couple, and I love doing it. I'd love to learn more of that and do more of that.
Where do you get the energy from? I can barely play 1 gig a month.
Well, but the trouble is, even with all these bands, it's not much more than 1 gig a month. No, right. I mean, I also do play solo, of course, as well. And I love doing that, actually. And lately I've been on the South Coast a lot, because we go and visit my son down there, and go to a lot of clubs around there, and that's been good. It got me a couple of gigs down there and all that, doing solo. So.
Whereabouts is that? What area is that?
I'm where we are is in Lancing, which is near Worthing, between Worthing and Brighton, so south, you can picture it there. And that whole area, you've got the South Downs, just up from there.
These folk clubs you go to?
Yeah, mainly folk clubs or acoustic clubs of one kind or another. Right. And they're really good. And you go along and do a couple of numbers, and a couple of times people have said, would you like to come and play my club? Yes, please. And I played the one in Eastbourne, playing another one in Eastbourne later this year. So that's been
great.
Been good.
I think when you ask where do you get the energy, I think clearly you're very passionate about it. You just love it so much.
I don't think of it as needing energy.
Yes, I mean, I have no energy for other duties in my life, but when it comes to music, I would say yes.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
It's what keeps us going, isn't it?
Absolutely, I love it.
Right.
I don't know who I'd be without it. That's the thing. I think you might feel that way.
No, same. I do.
Who would I be without it? I don't know.
No one. Nobody's. Right. Your favourite album artwork? Have you got something?
Well, I picked this one. When I look at it again, it's pretty basic, really. But the story is that I saw someone. This is shortly after I've been buying albums in, the Beatles record and all that. And I saw someone walking along with this cover, and I thought, that's so striking. I had to buy the record. It's the Hair soundtrack.
Something I know nothing about.
Now, when I look at it now, I think you could probably knock that up in 2 minutes.
See, you've got those colours on the front, same colours, but a different.
The other way around.
What do you call it?
Different colours, but the same picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is from the stage show of Hair.
Again, it's so in such good nick. Either you've never played it.
Well, I've not played it all
or,
that much. I mean, it's all right.
Yeah, but
What's the famous song on
It's
there?
very-
Let the Sun Shine.
Yeah,
In.
Let the Sun Shine.
Yeah. But there's some songs on there.
Can I look at the actual
Yeah,
disc?
no, that's funny because it came in this cover. That's literally the original plastic cover that it came in.
And
I don't know why.
We should have all kept our original plastic.
Yeah,
covers,
yeah,
and then they
yeah.
would be
Yeah,
Not
it's not even
unscratched.
paper.
I actually, as a starting about 14, I used to get on a train
Yeah,
up north to come to London.
yeah,
Maybe with just a mate. Didn't tell my parents where I was going.
yeah.
And we came down to see this.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
at the theatre.
Yeah, because it was a nudity.
How did
Yeah,
you
nudity.
get, oh yeah, how did you get the ticket? How
I
did
can't
you afford
remember,
it?
but they were all under, when they come to the nude bit right at the end, I think it was,
Yeah.
vaguely remember, it was all under a big sheet,
That was it.
satin, that silky sheet, so you didn't get to see
That's the
much.
only reason you went to see it.
That's the only reason anybody went.
Yeah, exactly.
What else would you come see? Hair.
But I think when you listen to it, it's got a charm of its own. Some of those songs, and some of them, the words in them, I didn't understand them. You know, they were sexual references, really.
Oh, right.
And it's like,
Well, you mean
like-
you didn't understand them in the
then,
but do you
yeah.
understand them?
Well, I've had to look them up.
It was mucky,
Okay.
very mucky.
I'm
Was
not-
Marsha Hunt in it? Can you remember?
Do you know? I think she might. The cast list is there. I'll have to look, but yeah, she might have
I
been.
think she was in it.
Yeah.
One of Mick Jagger's.
I'll tell you who was in it. I'll come with his name. The guy who was on telly in Just Good Friends. What was
Yeah,
that? What was his name?
Paul Nichols.
Paul Nicholas.
Nicholas.
He was
I mean,
in it.
I'm not familiar
Do you know
with
he
the
was
music.
he also went to a grandma's party. That was one of his singles.
Yes, I thought
Right.
some kind of joke.
I forgot.
Yeah, I must familiarise myself
He
with
was,
the
he was a
music.
very handsome chap, Paul.
Yeah,
he
I
was.
agree.
He was like the blonde David Essex.
Yeah,
They both started.
And he was on stage, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a
David
stage
Essex in
man.
Godspell, wasn't he?
Yeah. Mind you, he looks very bald now.
He does.
Now, this is the really hard question, but maybe
Yeah.
not for you.
Well, let's see.
Can you tell us about your favourite all-time band or artist?
Okay, well, again, it has taken a bit of thought
Yes.
to do this because there's so many to choose from. But I had to come down to the Hollies. And the reason I come down to that is I've loved them for so long. You know, I liked them in the 60s when they were coming out with hit records. Graham Nash's voice, to me, is one of the best voices I've ever heard. I just love his voice and his ability with harmony. And I saw him a few years ago and he's just as good even now. I saw the Hollies for the first time after Graham Nash had left. So that was, he left in about 68, 69, I think. So I'm not quite sure when. But then I went on to see them a number of times. I've got a couple of programmes here from those days.
Was Alan Clark in the? Is it Alan Clark?
Alan Clark.
Was he in the band then before, or did he join after?
No, he was always in the band.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to go on about it, but it's like you bought it yesterday. It's not even a bit, no grubbiness at all.
Yeah.
Brilliant programme.
They're nice. I used to buy the programmes, but then I realised it was a lot of pictures and
Well, I don't
wide
know.
up. But now I kind of feel glad I got
now.
these. You know, they've stuck with me.
Something to bring back
Yeah.
memories, isn't it?
And then one of these ones, I can't remember which one it was. The support act was James Griffin, and James Griffin
Look at that one.
used to be in Bread, who was a band I also love a lot. Could have made it to the top for me.
Well, they sort of did. They were quite big, Brett.
They were Bread, yeah, they were Bread, and they were big as well. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So yeah, 1976. This one, I'm not quite sure when that one was. Yeah. So and the thing is, me and my wife both like them, and we go off to see them usually once a year. They usually play in Southend, so I'll go and see them in Southend. I've seen them at the Albert Hall. I've seen them at Dagenham Town Show once, of all things. I mean, obviously we're down to we've got two now of the original hit members. You know, the hit group. Actually, no original members really, because the original drummer left very early before they started having hits, as did the guitarist or what was he?
What was that? What was the baby-faced guitar player called?
Tony Hicks.
Tony Hicks.
Yeah, and still looks young.
Yeah.
He's must be in his 80s now.
His Gibson Les Paul, I saw it for sale on Reverb for about 300 grand.
Really?
Whether he got it, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's the baby face
Yeah.
saying Hick. I'm enjoying this advert on the back for Melody Maker, and the quote is, "If the scream from the speakers blows your mind, you'll throb to the vibrations from Melody Makers." because we get to the heart of the rock scene today.
Absolutely,
It's-
absolutely.
That's before you had to have these short, snappy.
Yeah.
I like
It's
I
full
like the
sentence.
Hollies.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I like the sing. I must admit, I've never heard an album by them, but the
Right.
singles are great. I'll tell you else
Yeah,
who like
absolutely.
the Hollies. Brian Stubbles.
No, you got me there.
Yeah.
Is it
I
just
don't-
because it's got a funny name?
No,
I'm
no.
gonna say that.
It's
I like
thi-
the way you pronounce it though, Stubble.
Brian Stubbles. For some reason, this has always stuck in my mind. Noel Edmonds used to do a Christmas show
Yeah.
where they'd set up things. There'd be like surprises.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, you haven't seen your dog. You thought you lost your dog 20 years ago, but here it is now. And this man called Brian Stubbles, he'd obviously had a bit of a hard life because he was on a walking stick. I don't know if you remember this clip. He was on a walking stick. Noel Edmonds knocks on his door and he went, bloody hell, no. You know, invited him in. He said, come in, I've got something to show you. Took him into the front room and under this blanket that you could tell it was a jukebox.
Oh yeah.
So he said, I've got a jukebox for you, and that was they took the thing off. He went, wow, this is fantastic. Noel Edmonds says, anything on there that you like? And he looked, he said, I like the Hollies. Oh yeah, they're my favourite band.
Yeah.
He said, he ain't heavy. So Noel Edmonds clicked it, said, let's play it. So he started to play, and he said, this sounds rubbish. He said, follow me. Went out to the back garden, and there's the
And they
Hollies
were there,
playing.
weren't they? I
Yeah.
remember that now.
You
yeah,
remember it?
that now. Yeah,
That has
yeah.
always stuck in my mind. It's
Yeah,
a beautiful
yeah,
moment
yeah, lovely,
for
yeah.
Brian Stubbles.
Yeah, Brian Stubbles. The Hollies have never played in my back garden, sadly. I have to go to them.
Excellent. Now,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
second part of this question.
Yeah.
Your favourite album and song? Well, that's 2 bits. That's massive, isn't it?
I don't know if we
Let's
asked you
stick
that in
with-
the original questions. I think
but
I've added
it
to
doesn't
it.
Alright.
matter. Let's.
You can
Yeah.
just, you don't have to answer
You can
both. You can just what
can
does
have it
that
there.
bring to mind?
Yeah.
Favourite album? I think
crikey.
song is asking too much to
Yeah.
ask someone.
Yeah.
favourite
Well,
song.
when it was locked down,
Yeah.
there was a thing going around about naming your 10 favourite albums, and I
Okay.
did a lot of work on paring it down to 10.
Yes.
You know, so
He's
to
a
pick one
figure.
out of that
He's
10.
a facts and figures man.
But if I could think of it now, but I suppose out of those, I'm going to say. I can't remember them all now. Let's pick. I will pick All Things Must Pass, I think. George Harrison. Yeah, because I love that for a long time. Yeah.
I don't know that album.
I
I'll
don't
have
even
to
know
listen
that.
to it.
I don't even know it that well. I
Yeah.
must admit.
It's a sort of, they call it a triple album, which is a bit of a misnomer really. It's a double album, for sure. The third one was just sort of jamming.
Yeah.
Just like the band jamming. All right, some good people in that band, but you want to listen to that once and never again, really. But the album is some great songs on there.
Okay.
My Sweet Lord
Is-
was on there.
Oh.
If not for you, is that on there?
If Not For You, yeah.
Is that a Bob Dylan song?
It is, yeah.
Do you know it? If not for you,
Yeah.
I could see the.
It's like George in the Room,
No.
isn't it, really? Yeah. Olivia Newton-John had a hit with that.
Oh, yes, she did.
Yeah.
I think the thing is with this question, it changes. Like my favourite album,
Yeah.
and so it changes every few months.
It'll be fine.
You know, because you come across a new one, or you play an
Yeah.
old one, you think, oh, that's this week's favourite.
Well, I don't know off the
Yeah.
top of my head, but like you, I used to do my own top 10.
Right.
And I did it from about 1973 up until well into the 90s.
Was that a top 10 of the year? Or
No, of the week.
Of the week?
Yeah, and
No,
I
okay,
fill
yeah.
it. They're all books like this,
Yeah,
Nick
yeah.
from school.
Yeah,
And had me 3 albums.
Yeah.
So I could work out
Right.
which definitely the music that I play, you know, not just
Yeah, yeah.
thinking.
So you still got the book?
I've still got them books, yeah.
Do you still do your list?
No. I run out of steam, like everything. I've completely run out of
I'll
steam.
give you a favourite song,
Yes,
because I
go
think
on
it's got to be way up there. He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother.
Oh.
Because it's such a great song.
It's got everything, is
It's
it?
got everything, and I think the lyric throughout that song is perfect.
It's very
And if
beautiful
you,
and positive,
particularly
isn't it?
if you listen to it, go to the middle a bit, and the middle section, it's just a beautiful. It all flows right through. It's like one sentence over about 4 lines of the song.
I'll tell
And
you
it's
else like that.
fantastic.
Brian Stubbles. That's his
Oh,
favourite.
yes, yeah.
Brian,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
loved that song.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
It is a great
I
song.
don't
It's
think
got
of
nice-
the Hollies singing it. Was it done by 2 very clean-cut American boys at some point?
If it was, it'll be the inferior version that nobody's ever heard, because there's only one version. That's by the Hollies.
There are.
I might be
there are
mixed
other
up. Maybe it was a similar thing.
But
But no,
no,
well done for
But
having a favourite
that'll
song.
do me.
Yes. Lovely. So, we're nearly at the end here, but
It's flown by.
It has, absolutely.
Yeah. I was told it would fly
But
by.
of course, we can go on forever, but we mustn't.
Yeah, I've only got 3 hours in the car park.
Have you brought a precious bit of memorabilia?
Well, I've shown you a couple of bits, haven't I?
Yes.
I haven't shown you yet.
I just bet you have got a few bits of precious
This is
memorabilia.
actually the first record, Runaway. I just thought I'd bring it to show, just to show I've still got it. Yeah.
On the London
It
Lane.
also started my love of B-sides, but I mentioned that, have I love B-sides. I always like
This
to
one
get
is
by the
Jodie.
record. Jodie, it's not a great song, it's a bit of a dirge, really.
You know,
But
I love
just
B-sides as well.
that
I used to when you had
Discovery. When you,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
back in the day, when you buy a record and you invested time and effort and money to go and get it, and then you put it on, that's good, turn it over.
Some of the great B-sides, Rain by the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
That was a B-side.
Yeah.
Can't Always Get What You Want. That was a B-side.
It's
That
like
was-
when
But
you went to buy a... Sorry, carry on.
To me, the king of the B-sides was T-Rex. They had some
Oh,
fantastic
right.
B-sides
Yeah.
that weren't on albums.
Right, okay.
Yeah, brilliant.
I'm in to follow that up, I don't know.
It's just like when you bought a single, you went for the one song, but you came home with two.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you said
right.
before,
It
it's
wasn't
like
a
2 for
single, it
1.
was a double. Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it's not my... but because this is in context, I know I'm not the guest today, but my first single was I'm a bit younger than these two. What were they called?
Shalimar,
Who did Tainted Love?
Soft Cell.
Soft Cell. So I went to buy Tainted Love,
Yeah.
and I think the B-side was called Bedsit Land.
Are you sure
And
that
I
was
loved it.
that was a single?
Oh, I might be wrong about that. But anyway, Tainted Love is brilliant. Not that I'm a big fan of the 80s, but that one I'll make an exception
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
But Bedsit Land, it was really miserable. It was really depressing, but I loved
Talking
it.
about-
Just something about discovering those.
Yeah.
Talking about Mark Bolan, his girlfriend, who was driving the Mini when he died,
Yeah.
she did the original Tainted Love.
What do you mean? Who
Oh,
wrote
did
it?
she?
Yeah.
Didn't they write it?
No,
No, they didn't.
it was an old soul single
Really?
by Gloria Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Mark
I think
You
Bolan's
told me that
girlfriend,
before, but
and
I'm shocked every time I remember it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, so
Their
what did
version's
they
much
write?
better.
Well, Bedsit Land.
I'll tell you what they wrote: "Say hello, wave goodbye." It's a
We're
classic.
not
She's
discussing
like
it.
it.
Yeah.
We're not discussing it.
Um,
Not here. In another
we're on
forum.
memorabilia. I'll just
Oh, we are.
quickly. I mentioned this to Johnny before we started. He doesn't know Pete Atkin. You probably don't know Pete Atkin.
No.
Pete Atkin used to write songs with Clive James.
Well, we know
What, Clive James?
Clive
the
James.
Clive James.
Clive
Yeah.
James wrote songs like yours. Very clever.
That's probably why I like him.
Wordy ones. Yeah,
What, are you
funny.
talking about the same Clive James?
Yeah, he's a really good songwriter.
Oh, he used to be on the telly doing stuff on the telly.
I had no idea.
He was a lyricist.
I knew something that you
And
did.
has been quoted as saying that it was his favourite thing to do was write lyrics.
Wow.
Well, that's
I had a friend
day for him, I don't know.
who sadly passed away now, but he used to, in folk sessions, play Clive James songs. That's how I
Well,
know.
it would be.
And they were
It would be
brilliant.
some. Most of those were. Well, he wrote with Pete Atkin. So
Yeah.
Pete Atkin is the performer of those songs.
So
And this
did,
was a show I went to.
did they ever go out and perform them?
Pete did all the time,
But not Clive
Still
James.
does. Still does.
Oh,
Yeah. Clive James. This particular event called Together at Last because Clive James appeared on stage with Pete Atkin. So Pete would sing a song, then Clive would do a bit of his raconteur stuff, reading from his book or something,
Yes.
that kind of stuff. And then
So that was a gig.
That was a gig.
Yeah.
That was a gig. Together at Last. Yeah, they did a tour, I think, and I saw him. I think he was in London somewhere. Yeah. That's that. Yeah. I mean, the other thing I was going to mention, although I don't think I've got anything of it, is again I mentioned earlier.
That's coming up later.
Yeah,
Let's see it.
Well, this is just another picture of me back in the early days. I'll just show you that. So that was with my friends again, John Hughes, my good friend John, who I still see.
Which
The
one
other,
are you?
he's the other guitarist. I'm the second one. You notice I'm the one not in scout uniform
Oh, yeah.
because it was a scout. They were all involved with the scouts and invited me to come along and
You
sing some
were a
songs.
maverick, though. You
I
couldn't,
I didn't do
didn't get
scouts.
on with the scouts.
I didn't get on
You're
with
too
the
busy
Scouts.
writing lyrics in the school book.
So ended up playing some songs there. So that was good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I see you keep your stuff really nicely in the notes
Well,
on the photos.
do you know, I tried to
It's so
prize these
impressive.
photos out.
Yeah,
They
but
won't
don't-
come out. I can't get them stuck in.
You know,
So I thought I'll have to bring the whole page.
It's the same as this.
it's a lesson for
Yeah.
us all.
You know, the sellotape thing.
Yeah.
I've got photos that have got all this
Yeah,
all over
yeah.
them. I mean, the first gig I ever did with saw with the T-Rex, completely covered in this.
Yeah.
Just turns it all brown.
Yeah.
It's a scourge of the 1970s.
And the other thing I've just mentioned, because it was in that kind of era, I haven't got any memorabilia of it, was this songwriting event I went to, which was run by Dean Friedman, which I mentioned to you earlier.
Who's
And
Dean Friedman?
Dean Friedman, who did a song called Lucky Stars. You can thank your lucky stars.
We're
Yeah,
not
right.
as smart as we'd like to think we are.
So you say that was that a duet?
Yes.
I
There was a
don't.
woman on it then.
I can't remember. I mean,
Nobody
she
knows.
wasn't named on it.
Well,
Oh,
I'm
was she?
remembering it as a duet because my mum had that single and I used to play it all the time. And
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was brilliant. I must have been really, really young.
Yeah. But I again, someone I've loved for a long time. I really like Dean Friedman over the years.
And
especially
you met
early
him.
stuff.
You met him.
And I
you
met
say.
him. So he ran this thing, and it was it was just in a hotel, so it wasn't a big event. And there's loads of other people came and played, like I can't remember now.
So it's a
other people came
songwriting
and played.
event.
Yeah,
did you say?
there was some. Oh, yeah. Part of it, I will tell you just this
Yes.
story if I may.
Yes, sorry.
Was he ran as part of it a songwriting workshop?
Yes.
And I thought, oh, I'll go to that, and it was extra money. You know, it's quite expensive actually. I mean, you know, an extra whatever it was, a couple £100 to go to something. It was quite a lot of money.
Oh, man, you're not talking about the 70s now, are you?
No, this was
200
a few years ago,
Oh.
and I thought, as much as I love him, when I went to it, I didn't learn anything. It was like he didn't seem to have it really prepared.
No.
But the funny thing was, when I was going into the room, coming out was Richard Digance. Do you know Richard Digance?
I know Richard
Yeah,
Digance.
Is it off a quiz show?
No, he's like he's a comedy song.
Yeah, it's a lot of comedy songs and very good serious songs as well. And I liked him, and I would have liked to have gone to his songwriting workshop,
Yeah.
which he just finished. And I said I said, oh hello, I didn't know you were here or something. And I said, I would have loved to come to your workshop. And he said, well, what time do you finish with Dean? And I said, well, a couple of hours. He said, I'll come down and we can have a chat about
Really?
songwriting. And bless him, he did, you know. And that wasn't extra money. It was just him
Did
being
you learn
nice.
anything from that chat?
How can they teach you anything?
I don't think you learn
I've
anything
never
from
been
any of
to
this
a
stuff.
songwriting
Yeah, but I love them. I
workshop.
love going to them. I went to one with Pete Atkin as well. Love going to them. Don't really learn.
You have to be
No,
a
the
good
trouble-
teacher though as well. You
the-
can't just be a good songwriter.
The
Yeah,
trouble with
yeah.
songwriters is we all think our stuff's better than everybody else.
No, it is true.
You're probably
But I,
You know, if you go
You're
to
right.
an open mic, you're sitting there thinking, this is shit, when am I getting it? When can I get on?
well, I
Yeah.
don't think everyone's that extreme. But I,
But they are,
I-
you've scratched the surface.
I've avoided going to songwriting workshops because I think however I do it now, it works for me.
Yes.
People
yes.
seem to like it. And I
Yes.
don't want to go to one and discover I'm doing everything wrong. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
There's
not
no
be
wrong
able to
or right way.
Yeah,
No,
I know, and
exactly.
a good workshop
Yeah,
will tell
yeah.
you that, but then
Yeah.
why go to it?
Yeah, I'll go for the fun of it. I went to one with Jez Lowe. Do you know Jez Lowe?
Yes, yeah, he's brilliant.
He was a brilliant songwriter. But I don't
I've
think I learned
changed my
anything.
mind about it now, and I do want to go. And
Yeah. But
Well, it
it's
about
sounds
fun.
like to me you should run some,
I have
Yeah,
run
that's
some.
the
That's
one.
why I've changed my mind.
take the money.
I
Yeah,
didn't
Dean
do it
did.
for the
Yeah,
money.
yeah, Dean certainly did.
I did it to
I mean, bless
spread
him, you
the
know,
art.
he's a lovely man and everything.
Well,
I
when
just
you're
didn't
in-
think his songwriting workshop was very
Now, when you're a musician these days, you've got to take the money as where you can get it.
That's true, that's true.
Well,
There's not
have a
much
day
around.
job is probably the best way.
Day job, how
Yeah.
dare you?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's lovely. Thank you, Al.
Yeah.
You've been absolutely marvellous.
What a marvellous guest.
But before you go,
Oh,
can
that's
you
something else, isn't it?
recommend something to us and the
Yes,
viewers
yes, I
that
must.
you've discovered lately?
Yes, I must do this. Yeah, I went to a Bonnie Tyler concert.
Oh, I love
Bonnie
Bonnie.
Tyler.
Well, my wife liked Bonnie Tyler, so I bought her a ticket for her birthday or something. So we went along to this concert at London Palladium. And there was a support act.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, I always go and see the support act. Some people don't bother. I always think, well, you might find something. So we sat down and half a dozen guys trotted out onto the stage, a couple in top hats, and they sat down, one at keyboard, guitars and all that. I thought, oh, okay, here we go. And they started, and I thought, this is all right. And by the time there were 2 or 3 songs in, I thought, these are really good, these guys. This is really good. You know, and it came to half time, and we went out for a drink, and Jill said to me, did you like them? And I said, yeah, I did. And she said, I knew you would. I remember her saying, I knew you would. Well, the fact is, after that, I bought the band are called Cats in Space.
And what did you like
Not
about
more
them?
cats.
Cats, it's the theme. I'm keeping to the theme.
I'm just going to guess you like that they had good lyrics, but
They
what
do.
did you like about them?
Well, the lyrics, yeah, are fine, but more than that, they were very much and they call themselves, now I know them better, they call themselves a 70s style rock band. They don't
Yeah.
play old stuff, they play their
Yeah.
own stuff.
They're
It's
like
very much
Poodle Rock.
70s. So it's like big guitars, a lot
Big
of
hair.
harmonies, big hair.
Poodle rock. I
Yeah,
call it.
Poodle rock. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, but they'll happily mention their influences as anything from ELO to the Sweet. you know, and I can hear that in that music, and this was, we fell in love with them basically, and since then I bought all their stuff,
Really?
and seen them 3 more times as well.
That's an excellent
So
recommendation.
I recommend that to anyone,
Cats in
except
Space.
that people will go and they'll say, "What were you talking about? We don't like it."
That's the
that's my
trouble with
recommendation.
recommendations.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't like it for
Well,
that
Yeah.
person. Then
I just like
Maybe
it 'cause I like it.
the question is, what have you discovered lately that you love?
Yeah, and that's
And
definitely
people can
mine.
take it as a recommendation or not.
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
when I lived in Spain for 7 years, because money was a bit hard to earn out there. Me and my friend, we started doing like decorations and bathrooms and stuff, you know, because he was good at it. And we called ourselves the Bonnie Tylers.
Well, sadly, we've come to the end of this episode,
It's
so
been a
I
fu-
think it's time.
Well, it is time, Al, because
Reward Al Neville.
we were going to say, we know that giving you money to do this would be an insult to you.
Well,
So instead, we've given you
fabulous.
the Desert Island
Much
Dickhead
more.
fridge magnet. Now, I don't know if this is
Now, I've
true.
seen people do this on these videos. They go like this, don't they?
Yeah.
It's a sweet fridge magnet.
One of these days,
I've got the hang of
one of
it.
these
Got a
days, it'll stick to somebody's pacemaker in there. But I don't know if it's true, but Taylor Swift, apparently, in America, she's gigging at the minute, was been seen with one on her guitar. I don't know if it's true, I haven't seen the photo, but I shall Google it and see if I can find it.
Yeah, so will I.
So don't forget, Desert Island Dickheads, do what Al did if you fancy coming along and having a go. It's a lovely half hour to spend with friends.
So it is.
Lovely.
1 hour.
Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.